Yo, what's up guys? It's been a while since the My Hero recap part 1 and it's kinda popped off. It's already become like my most viewed video of all time and it has over 1,000 views. That's just mind blowing to me. I got a bunch of super nice comments and a lot of people were asking for a part 2, so I guess here it is. Definitely check out part 1 if you haven't, because I'm gonna continue where it left off. And if you don't subscribe, I'm gonna drop you faster than Deku dropped Overhaul. But as they say, let's just get into it. So we left off on Shigaraki cutting off Overhaul's arms. I didn't include this in the last video, but Night Eye was fatally wounded by Overhaul during their fight. So as he's on death's bed, he tries to look into Mirio's future, but he can't see anything. So he lies and tells Mirio that he'll become a finer hero than anyone else. And then he dies. Not gonna lie, this was a pretty sad moment. But moving on, we see that Gran Torino and Naomasa Scouchki were still tracking Kurogiri, the warp gate. He leads them to a mountain where they are attacked by one of All For One's henchmen, Gigantomachia. The scene ends with a huge explosion. Back in the hospital, Deku checks on Mirio, who seems to be back to his normal self even though he lost both his mentor and his quirk. Mirio tells Deku that he'll wait for Eri to learn to control her powers, and then ask her to return his own. But until that time, he has to take time off from UA. As the 4 work-study students return, they're greeted by their worried classmates. After the reunion, All Might is on the phone with Gran Torino. Gran Torino says he barely managed to capture Kurogiri, but Gigantomachia is able to escape. Fast forward a bit later, when Bakugo and Todoroki are about to retake their hero license exam, Endeavor asks to speak with All Might. During the exam, Endeavor cheers Todoroki on, but ends up scaring all the other students. But when everyone sees All Might, they brighten up. Gorka, the number 10 hero, reveals himself to be the proctor for this exam. He lets in a bunch of kids, telling the heroes that they must learn to help and control the class of problem children. Oh, and apparently Todoroki has 5 wee-wees now, I guess? Back in the stands, Endeavor and All Might continue their conversation. Apparently the crime rate has gone up 3% after All Might's retirement, and Endeavor has stopped the most villains. He asks All Might what it means to be the symbol of peace. As he says this, the students manage to get the kids under control by making them a cool slide. After the exam, Endeavor congratulates Todoroki and promises to be a hero that Todoroki could be proud of. Aoyama started stalking Deku, and it really creeps him out. During their training, Aoyama reveals that, like Deku, his quirk is not compatible with his body, which is why he always needed to wear a support belt. In the next episode, we're introduced to the school festival, where all the courses show off their quirks and talents. In the end, they decide to do a group song and dance performance. The next day, Deku and Mirio go to see Eri. They remember that she doesn't know what it's like to smile, so they decide to take her to the school festival when it's time. At the end of the episode, we see police huddling around a computer, trying to figure out where an online video came from. The video is of a mustached hero robbing a grocery store and defeating multiple heroes. The hero claims he is Gentle Criminal, and his sidekick is La Brava. In the next episode, we see Gentle Criminal reveal that he robbed the store because they did not pay for their crimes for mislabeling the inventory. We learn that he wants to be the new Jake Paul, so he plans to attack the UA. We then go back to the UA students. They're discussing the roles in the performance. They decide that Bako will play drums, Momo plays the piano, Tokiyami plays the guitar, Uraraka, Kirishima, Todoroki, and Aoyama handle the special effects, Jiro handles vocals, and everyone else dances. After they decide the role, All Might asks to speak to Deku and takes him outside. All Might teaches Deku a new technique where he moves with 8% and switches to 20% on the moment of impact. This allows Deku to create shockwaves of air pressure from his fingers. While Deku is practicing the dance routine, Mirio shows up with Eri and asks Deku if he wants to help give Eri a tour of the school before the school festival. They look at the beauty pageant and the support course, and they meet the pro heroes. As Deku returns to dance practice, his team tells him that he's now part of the effects team. Later, while training, Mei tells Deku that she's almost done building the support item he asked her to make. After training, while Deku is resting, he stumbles upon a video of Gentle Criminal. We then see Gentle Criminal's plan to infiltrate UA. He plans to stop at a tea house because they're one of the few places that sells Gold Tips Imperial, a scarce tea, before breaking into UA on the same day of the school festival. He plans to use La Brava's hacking skills to break past UA security. Apparently, La Brava was Gentle Criminal's first fan and fell in love with him at first sight. It's already the day before the school festival, and everyone is getting ready to perform. The rope is too worn out, so Deku promises to get more in the morning. The next morning, while Deku is practicing his new move, Mei gives him the finished support item. After buying the rope, he runs into Gentle Criminal and La Brava. So the fight between them is really long, and I'm sure you don't want to hear the whole thing, so I'll just skip to the end. Basically, Deku beats Gentle Criminal and he's taken away by the pro heroes. But before he was taken away, he tells the heroes that he brainwashed La Brava into following him, so it wasn't her fault. With very little time before the festival, Deku hurries back. He barely makes it in time, and they start the performance. Can I just say Eri smiling is my favorite scene in the whole show? So this is where the school festival arc ends and the next arc begins. So we start off the arc with the return of the hero team, the Pussycats, who are finally resuming their hero work. They tell the class about the Japanese hero Billboard chart, which is pretty much just a way to rank heroes. We then see the new official Billboard rankings, and I'll just list them out. 10 is Ryukyu, 9 is Yoroi Musha, 8 is Wash, 7 is Kamui Wood, 6 is Crust, 5 is Mirko, 4 is Edgeshot, 3 is Best Genus, 2 is Ox, and the first is Endeavor. During the show, Hawks picks a fight with basically every hero alive, and Endeavor responds with, "Just watch me." Pretty cool if I do say so myself. After the show, Hawks asks Endeavor if he wants to team up. He needs help because he received a bunch of reports of no moves in his hometown, and Endeavor agrees. So while they're out patrolling, a bunch of people ask Hawks for an autograph. Endeavor hears people being too afraid to ask for his autograph, so he walks up to Natsu. Sorry, I meant Bystander 48 to offer an autograph. He runs away because he thinks this isn't how Endeavor should be. So while Endeavor and Hawks are eating, they're attacked by the High End. So the final episode of season 4 starts with the Endeavor kids talking with their mom. When the conversation turns to Endeavor, she says that he's definitely trying to face his past and his family. So the fight between Endeavor and a High End is one of the best in the entire series. So definitely go and watch it. But in short, Endeavor barely managed to win while Shoto's watching on TV. While the city was evacuating, Natsu yelled in front of a report crew in support of Endeavor. Using the last of his strength, Endeavor strikes the same pose that All Might did when he defeated All for One. So we finish off the season with a dream of Deku meeting the previous All for One users, with the original saying, "So you're the ninth," and the glass shattering. If you liked the video, drop a thumbs up because Overhaul clearly can't. And if you don't subscribe, Eri will die in the next season, and nobody wants that to happen. So if you just came here for the recap, you can click off, but I have some things I want to say. Firstly, I just want you guys to feel free to let me know about any shows you want me to recap. And I've already planned recaps for like Legend of Korra and Demon Slayer. I'm also thinking of doing my own personal reviews of these shows in separate videos, so comment if that sounds interesting. And one last thing, I've been thinking of incorporating like comedy and jokes into these recaps. Like not so much that it just becomes one of those sarcastic reviews, but just something you could really use as a recap while still being able to laugh. Just thought I'd throw that out there, so see you later.